Hello viewers, in this video we have for initial checkout a very important phone to me. This is the Panasonic KX-TG6841. I actually managed to find one new in the box. I thought I found one at the thrift store, but it turned out to be a different one. I can't actually remember the model number, but either way it wasn't the one that I wanted. So I held out for the cheapest one I could find online. And then this one popped up. It was kind of expensive since it's new in the box, and it only has one handset. It was about $28. But I thought, since I really wanted one with the belt clips, or I guess just one belt clip since this one has a single handset, that's not a bad price. And with any luck, the original batteries might even still work, although if they're nickel metal hydride, I seriously doubt that. Here's a thank you card. So it's wrapped pretty nicely in this bubble wrap. And there's a good bit of tape around the edges, but it does not appear to be like a tape freak show. Thankfully, I've only had a couple of those. I am trying to open this very carefully, since I don't want to damage the box. It appears to be in really good condition. And no, it's not that old, but it's still, I still want to keep it in good condition. So there we go. So, the story behind why this phone is so important to me is because after we moved into our old house, that was about 11 years ago at this point, within the year that we moved in, so probably about 9 years ago or so, we got one of these systems. And that was actually the first phone that I ever used beyond just making and receiving calls because of the ringtones. I think our previous system had the same ringtones as you can find on a lot of the older Panasonic systems, like the, for example, KX-TG6841, which I currently have one of. But this one has just really iconic ringtones. They may not be the most nostalgic of all, because Unitons were probably the most ubiquitous, but certainly in this part of the country, Panasonics became quite ubiquitous, and I mean, this was what we had for years. And I actually went into the phone book and assigned all of our relatives different ringtones. And sometimes I would even stand in a room upstairs with one of the phones, just standing there listening to the ringtones for upwards of 15 minutes. And I fully intend to start doing that again with this one, as the ringtones are just so cool in there. So here we go. Definitely looks to have never been used. And it's got the original foam in there. Let's see if it's degraded. Okay, good. It's not even the slightest bit sticky. So here are the original batteries. if it'll focus. They're nickel metal hydride, 400 milliamp hours. Somehow it completely went out of focus once again. And I can't see any date code on there, which is kind of weird. But for now, I'm not going to use these because I want to have ones that are already charged up and ready to go. Come on, focus. So let's put these in here. Nope, that's not right. Huh, maybe these batteries don't have a good charge. The speaker is kind of cutting out. Hopefully they'll get us through the video. So next up we have some random pieces of packaging. These Panasonic boxes are always so weird. There's certainly no hope of putting them back together how they were originally. But anyway, yes, there it is. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on right now. In fact, for a long time, I wasn't sure if this was the exact model that we used to have or not. Also, thankfully, this cord is not the slightest bit sticky. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. I actually have a vintage Panasonic answering machine. The cords won't let it come into the frame quite all the way. It's the KX-TM85B. So as I was saying, the 6841, I wasn't initially sure up until just recently that it actually was the system that we used to have, because I was just kind of remembering how our old one looked and sounded and going off of videos that I've seen of the 6841. But then I just recently was looking through videos that I had on an old camera that I used at the same time as these phones, and I indeed saw a picture, or one frame in the video, of myself holding one of these. So now I'm sure that it was indeed the 6841 that we used to have. And here's the adapter. It outputs 5.5 volts DC at 500 milliamps. Oh, and it's got one of these annoying twist ties that keeps wanting to hold its shape. So I'll go ahead and plug it in. Also, I was hoping that this phone wouldn't have any kind of a smell, like an air freshener or something, that I would have to remove by putting it outside in the sun for a few afternoons. And thankfully, it does not. I'm actually changing my phone setup as of yesterday to greatly reduce the number of phones that I have at any given time set up, because I just want to change. I just want to see what it's like without quite without quite so many phones set up at the same time. And this one is going to be one of the few that I'm going to have set up in the next ringing video. And we've got brochure for the KX-TG6841, which I think actually I found our old one of these that we had from the previous system in the basement one time. And the manual, which I may well have to refer to, but not during this video because it's 67 pages long, all in English. Alright, and that appears to be it, so I'm just going to throw everything back in here. Except for these twist ties, I can reuse them for something else. Nice. This is such a cool phone. Oh, no. First, this thing needs to be folded up, and then also, those flaps do not go down first. This one does. Okay, let's get it plugged in. Alright, let's start with the... I'm sure there's going to be no entries. Requires subscription to caller ID. Duh. I guess that's what it says when there are no entries. Screen call. We are going to put that off. That's it? Okay. Oh, whoops. Actually, let's turn this one on. It's pretty loud. It's so weird that you can't even set the date and time on the base. Let's go ahead and set it up here. Oh yeah, I was actually thinking this phone might have been from around 2013. And here is an important date. This is, of course, today. And today, May 11th, 2024, marks 4 years since I first started collecting phones. So this is actually a great coincidence that this came on this day. It is currently 4:42 p.m. Which is actually right around the... Oh, whoops. Right around the exact time that I made my first ever call from a corded phone. Before that, I just always used our Panasonic cordless phones. But back on May 11th, 2020, I decided to pull out our old corded phone from the storage cabinet and see if it would have any better sound than the cordless phones, and see if I could get some actual telephone network sounds out of it. Because I thought that the cordless phones went over the internet, but the corded phone would plug into a copper wire phone jack, which technically both are correct, but the thing is, both, of course, plug into the phone jack, and the phone jack is what went over the internet, and still does in this house. Alright, let's just make sure that's turned off. I'm not going to mess with that right now. Time adjustment. Let's see what it looks like with the backlight off. If it's standing up like that. Come on. It's kind of crazy how long the backlights stay on for on these Panasonic phones. I think it's exclusively the Deck 6 and Deck 6 Plus phones. There we go. So yeah, that's okay. I'll actually go ahead and put this in here. And I think I'm actually going to leave this on for now. Usually I don't like it when all my phones are telling me that I have a voicemail, because then sometimes they don't want to all get reset. But since I only have a few phones set up right now, I may as well have it on this one. Speed dial. Unfortunately, as with most Panasonics, you can't use 0. So there's no direct call block button, but hopefully there's a way to block it more easily from either the log or when you're actually receiving a call. Alright. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be probably my favorite part. Let's listen to all the ringtones. It's kind of crazy how a ringtone can make you remember so many things that happened years ago. That one was pretty repetitive, but I think the next one's going to be probably one of my 2 favorite ringtones. In my top 3 for sure. And I was saying favorite ringtones as in across all phones, or at least all cordless phones. And that one used to be what we'd hear at my grandparents' house. one's so much better than the newer version of it. And honestly, so is that one. Right, and this is probably my favorite ringtone of all time. I've been wanting to have another phone that sounds like this since about 2018. That is awesome. I'll just leave that alone for now, probably. Yeah, it does get a bit distorted. I'm going to turn it down one. Okay, so that should be it for all of these settings. So let's just see if the phone book... Oh, actually... Yeah, let me just make sure there's nothing in the phone book. I'm sure there isn't because it looked like it was totally unused, and yeah. 0 items stored. Let's set up everything from the handset.
New message playback. No new message.
Unfortunately, it does have the new voice, but it's okay. I do at least have one that has the old voice. Actually, no, I have two.
Hello, we are not available now. Please leave your name and phone number after the beep. We will return your call. Record greeting after the beep.
Leave message after the beep.
Leave message after the beep.
It's got decent recording quality.
Answer off. Answer on. Answer off.
It actually sounds clearer than the newest set of Panasonic answering machines. They kind of both sound the same when they say answer on, answer off on the new ones. But not on this one, you can just barely hear it pronouncing the Fs. Alright, let's just do intercom. Here we go with the intercom. I've got it all the way up. Yes, there was a bit of a feedback freak show. Alright, it is no longer turned all the way up, and it does sound pretty good. So now let's just turn everything down. Testing 1, 2, 3. Sounds like it works. Alright, let's make an outgoing call. Oh, of course. If you don't plug in the phone line, nothing's gonna happen. Alright. I was getting a lot of feedback on the
The number
speakerphone.
you have reached, 605-767-2676,
Doesn't get too loud.
is not in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again. Thank you. The number you have reached, 605-767-2676, is not in service. If you feel you have reached
The
this
bass
recording
actually
in
sounds
error,
surprisingly
please
tinny
check
for a
the number
bass.
and try your call again. The number you have reached,
But it is pretty loud.
605-767-2676, is not in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please...
Okay, now I'm going to record a testing message.
New voice message received today at 4:58 p.m.
This is a testing message on my new Panasonic KX-TG6841. Can't believe I finally got another one of these after we got rid of ours about, I think it would have been almost 7 years ago at this point. And that was on talk mode. Now I'm on speakerphone, speaking at the same distance. And now I'm holding the phone at about arm's length. And I placed it down on the table. I'm going to back away from the telephone. I'm now about 4 feet away and about 6 feet away. I'm about 8 feet away from the telephone. And finally about 10 feet away from the telephone. And if it's still picking up there, then that's a pretty good speakerphone. So now I'm going to switch to the bass. Alright, I'm now using the bass speakerphone, and I'm hoping that it's going to be just as good. I want to use speakerphone, but don't want to drain the batteries of the handset. So I'm going to back away now, about 3 feet away, and I'm about 5 feet away, and I'm about 7 feet away now, and now here I am back at about 10 feet. Hopefully it picked up. The voicemail does not appear to have hung up on me yet, so it sounds like it is working pretty well.
To repeat, press erase
Alright.
message. End of new voice message.
That sounded fantastic. I just checked redial. I can't show you since that was the voicemail number, but it does indeed work. Alright. So now I'm going to record a testing message into the answering machine. Alright, I went ahead and turned back on call screening since I'm going to be in the other room.
Answer on.
So here we go.
5:08 p.m.
Alright, I'm now recording a testing message onto the Panasonic KX-TG6841. Goodbye.
Okay, let's listen to it.
One new message.
Alright, I'm now recording a testing message onto the Panasonic KX-TG6841. Goodbye.
Saturday, 5:08 p.m. End of final message.
Alright, that sounded pretty good. So,
Answer off.
let's just make sure the locator's working. I'm guessing I just accidentally hit it twice. Alright.
No new message.
So there we go. That will conclude this initial checkout of the Panasonic KX-TG6841. Thank you for watching.